Hello. We had learned how to use the if-else structure in our earlier lessons. The if statement checks a condition. If the condition is true, the code inside the if block is executed. If the condition in the if statement is false, the code inside the else block is executed. For example, let's assume we receive information from a temperature sensor and this information is stored in an integer variable named temperature. We can write the commands here to turn on the fan if the temperature is above 21. If the temperature is not greater than 21, we can write the commands to stop the fan in the else section. So how would I modify it if I wanted to add a condition where the fan runs at half power when the temperature is between 10 and 21 degrees? In this case, we would use the else if structure. The else if structure is used to check multiple conditions in sequence. It allows you to execute different blocks of code based on various conditions. Let's say the information we receive shows that the temperature is 21 degrees. The if condition first checks if the temperature is above 21 degrees. If the condition is true, the commands in this block are executed and fan operates. However, since the temperature is exactly 21 degrees and not greater, the if block is skipped and the else if block is checked. In the else if structure, the condition of whether the temperature is greater than 10 degrees is checked. Since this condition is true, the commands here are executed and subsequent conditions are not evaluated. If this condition were also false, the else block would execute and the fan would be turned off. There is no limit to the number of else if blocks you can have here. You can add as many conditions as needed. Let's review this structure from the beginning. The program checks the condition inside the if statement. If this condition is true, the corresponding block of code is executed and the rest of the conditions are ignored. If the first condition is false, the program moves on to check the next condition inside the else if statement. If this condition is true, the corresponding block of code is executed and no further conditions are checked. All the if-else blocks will be checked sequentially as long as the condition is not true. If none of the if or else if conditions are true, the code inside the else block will run if an else is present. This acts as a catch-all for any situations where no previous conditions were met. There is no requirement to use an else block here. It can be omitted if desired. In other words, we can ensure that nothing happens if none of the conditions are met. In another example, let's assume we get information from a temperature sensor showing that the temperature is 7 degrees. First, the if block will check whether the temperature is below 0. If the temperature were below 0, the code to turn on the blue LED in the if block would be executed, and the other else if and else blocks would be skipped, allowing the program to continue from where it left off. However, since the temperature is not below 0, the program will move on to check the next else if block. Here, the program checks whether the temperature is below 10 degrees. Since the condition is true, the code to turn on the green LED in this block will be executed, and the subsequent else blocks will be ignored. For example, if the temperature were 30 degrees, since none of the conditions would be met, the else block would be executed, and the code to turn on the red LED would be run. We will be doing a practical example with else if blocks in our next lesson. Have a good day of work.